We begin our top stories this morning in Zambia, where the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security Permanent Secretary in charge of technical services, Dixon Matembo, has clarified that the passport office is issuing the document to selected clients after due scrutiny as the stock levels for booklets are too low. Mr. Matembo explains that passport booklets have been in short supply for a long time now after the previous government failed to procure them until the new Dawn administration came into office and has taken aggressive steps to correct the situation.
He says the ministry has since engaged the supplier of the booklets, who is currently in the country, to appreciate Mr. Matembo. He also says this measure will result in a speedy procurement of the booklets, which normally takes 6 months, and has assured that the situation will normalize by the 16th of September 2022 when the booklets are delivered. Joining us this morning from Zambia is Kelis Kaunda, media and public policy analyst. Good morning, Mr. Kaunda. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Is this seen as an infringement on the rights of citizens to move about freely, seeing that this issue could have been solved a really long time ago?
Well, just a little background to this. When I was working as a diplomat at the Zambian mission in Berlin, where I was also in charge of diaspora affairs, I had an opportunity of dealing with it. I'm saying that, the general population in Zambia might not frame this as an infringement on people's rights. But for those people, particularly Zambians that live in the diaspora, they have come to understand the importance of a passport to, living everyday life. For instance, without a passport in the foreign countries, it's almost impossible to access, employment, financial services, health services, just about everything that today supports human life. So, yes, it is an infringement in people's rights, even if it might not be perceived that way, for many people around here at home. But for those people that actually earn their income by traveling across borders, they've come to appreciate that a passport is very much representative of a person's human rights, the right to move from point A to point B, because those movements represent earning an income and pursuing those very things that support modern life.
You did talk about individuals that are highly dependent on the passport. We understand the very strong importance of the passport. What will happen to businesses and individuals, travelers, and those who even need to travel maybe for medical reasons? Is there a plan for temporary travel documentation in place of passports?
I don't know of any temporary plan, because in the past, when we have a similar problem, there's never been an option. What has happened is that people have simply been inconvenienced. Like I was attempting to explain, when I was dealing with diaspora issues when I was a diplomat in the Zambian mission in Berlin, it pained me to see how people could not access health services or financial services or employment benefits because they didn't have a passport, and we didn't have anything that we could give them in the interim. Sometimes we could only write a letter to explain to authorities that they were in the process of waiting for the documents. But what about Zambians that need these passports to travel? I don't know of any document that has ever been issued. What has simply happened in the past, and as I suspect is going to happen even now, is that people just have to be inconvenienced and endure the pain of not traveling and earning an income like they would normally do until the passport situation normalizes.
It must be tough for these persons, involved. And now let's talk about the timing. Is September 16th, 2022, is that a feasible date and time for printing of passports? Or is it just a promise made to keep the tensions from escalating?
I don't know exactly what they're doing behind the scenes, but I do not think that it is unrealistic. It is possible. Because even in the past, when we've had, shortage of passports, you should understand that the shortage of passports is not necessarily that, the passports are not there. It's running out of a budget to support the printing of passports. If we do not pay the printer on time, we do not prioritize, paying for this. These are the kinds of problems that we run into. I would like to believe that the Zambian government has come to realize the importance of this, and I think behind the scenes they must have mobilized some resources and paid the printer. What I would like to see going forward is that the Zambian government prioritizes the printing of passports. I mean, if we are going to talk about promoting, cross-border trade, the free movement of people, facilitating the diaspora for their contribution to investment at home, we must be able to address things like passports, because these are the instruments that support our plans for increased investment in the country, increased remittances. Because if people are not able to move across borders, they're not able to access financial services abroad because they don't have a passport. Then what's the point of even promoting, diaspora, diaspora contribution to national economies? And what's the point of talking about, free movement of people? And what's the point of even talking about the actualization of Africa free, continental trade area?
All right. We will, of course, be following up with this. September is just around the corner. I would like to see and hope that, this September deadline is actually met. But for now, we thank you, Kelly Kaunda, for your time with us this morning.
So much, guys.